helps create life in our home. So here I'll be sharing with you how I spice up my home with the simplest floral arrangements ever. Hi everyone, it's me Mel. We all have some sort of floral decors, plants or herbs in our home to soften our surroundings. But sometimes it can get a little boring. There are thousands of ways to create beautiful arrangements and it's quite overwhelming. So today I'll be sharing with you my basic tips and tricks that might work for you. I've done a few arrangements like a pageant, celebrations, but we're gonna dive more into a day-to-day kind of arrangement just to spice up the sad, empty vase you have sitting at home. Honestly, I don't have a green thumb and have always either overwatered my plants, rotted their roots, or forgot to have plants at all. So I opted for a better option by getting dried flowers because they last longer without much maintenance. So today, we're gonna play around with dried flowers that's in trend right now. First off, I got a bundle of pink liguras, commonly called as bunny tails, for 550 pesos. I have white solidagas for 550 pesos as well. A bundle of naturally dried gipsophila, or what we call baby's breaths, for 500 pesos. I got these flowers for about 350 to 450 pesos for 10 pieces, but I forgot and I don't know what it's called, but for the sake of this video, let's just call it the grain grass. These 10 pieces of blue eucalyptus for 550 pesos. 2 pieces of pampas grass for 250. A cup for 400 pesos. I also got this pink and violet hydrangeas for 300 pesos each. I prefer muted neutral colors for floral decors so that whenever there are celebrations, I can use big, bright, loud floral arrangements that suits the event. So of course, apart from the flowers, we'll need some vases. Oh, and we need a few binding materials such as wire, tape, or strings. First tip, cutting. What I normally do with flower arrangement is I try not to waste as much of it. Gauge a few combinations and see which suits together. I cut off bit by bit until I achieve the desired length that I want, but if I'm confident on cutting a big piece, then I'll go for it. For my first arrangement, if you've been in my channel, you would have seen this. For this arrangement, I have chosen a simple rectangular ceramic vase and picked blue eucalyptus and cotton to bundle together. The reason I picked these two is because what made them look good together is not only their contrast of colors, but also the shape. If you have noticed, the cotton buds are round and fluffy, while the eucalyptus is round and flat. And this is what ties it together, the difference in dimension, but the similarity in shape. Since some of the leaves have been folded, what I do is by gently pulling the leaves to open them up. Now, look at the way it's naturally bent, their directions, their lengths, then arrange them accordingly. I cut the long ones to create fillers that sticks out of the vase. Again, try not to waste any pieces. I want them to look open and scattered, so I won't be using any binder for this one. And voila! The first arrangement is done. It only has a few stems, but what makes it work is how it doesn't suffocate each other and also creates an asymmetrical look. Next, I used an old adorable apple juice jar with a small rim to create a bundle of neutrals with a pop of color. I picked the pink bunnytails and solidagos. Since they both have the same stem thickness, with a clear jar they will look the same, but their flowers will look opposite different. The bunnytails are short but roundish, while the solidagos are slim, thin, and long, so it creates an interesting combination that goes well together. Since the rim is smaller than the body, there is no use for a binder. But to keep the arrangement of the flowers in their places, it has to be cramped. Not too cramped, just leave no room for movement. The good thing about dried flowers is that they don't need water, so they don't necessarily have to touch the base of the vase. Now, vary the flowers to your desired heights. Since my bunnytails have multiple directions and my solidagos are straight and tall, I thought of making a fan or a bell style is what I call it. Having the middle tall, which is the solidagos, and the surrounding flowers, which is the bunnytails, varies in height but also emphasized by generously dispersing them so they each create that pop of color against the cream solidagos. Let's have a different proportion vase for this one. For this, we'll use a pitcher. This is quite popular as rustic farmhouse style, so instead of filling this up with lavender that I don't have, I'll be filling it up with small abundant flowers in different sizes. The same as how I used pink on cream, I'll be using baby's breaths and hydrangeas together. Since the hydrangeas grew as a bundle, it will look hideous to cut them all apart because the beauty of hydrangeas is due to its cluster of small round flowers. So for this arrangement, it'll be one of the simplest because you'll just be putting them beside each other. The baby breaths dried stiff and the hydrangeas are quite flexible, so I placed the hydrangeas on the spout to have a spilling effect, while the baby's breaths are on the handle side with a few sticking out so that it doesn't look flat. This is one of my favorites. Well, actually they all are, but this is interesting. I have a round base weave basket that I spray painted, so I'll be using it to have one natural material vase to enhance the softness of the arrangement. So my goal here is to create that effortless look, like I pick up some grass, dump it in my basket and brought it home for decorations. I'm using pampas grass and some solidagos and this grain grass. This grain grass, I couldn't find its name. I tried searching her up and Google was like, nope, wrong grass. Since I wanted to look like a bundle of picked grass, finally, we're going to use some binders. Tie it with a wire, space it out, and you have an arrangement. Also a tip, I advise that this is just a temporary arrangement because if you've noticed, that grain grass has a heavier flower and a frail stem. So you might want to reinforce it by wrapping around a paper tape, or put them on a taller vase. These last two arrangements are the simplest. Well, yeah, it's just dump some flowers on a vase, but just one type of flower. The most simplest is get a jar, dump some baby's breaths, and ta-da! You have another flower arrangement. It's the most minimalist arrangement that's very common right now. Out of all the flowers, I have this one super bright, super vibrant purple hydrangeas that I just want to play around with. I want it to be displayed alone, so I paired it up with a short cylindrical clear vase, and to make it interesting, I didn't want the stem to touch the base, so it is purely being held by the flowers on the rim. You can actually just play with your flowers. You can dangle it, tape it on a wall, hang it upside down, play with your creativity. My last tip is you can get rid of everything that I just told you from the start of the video until here and just go with your flow. You have flowers to decorate your space and it's supposed to uplift your mood. Just play with whatever arrangement you'd want as long as it serves you. This won't be an arrangement, but how will you repurpose those cutout stems and the flowers that have fallen? So for the flowers, you can flatten them in a book and use them for scrapbooking later or put them in letters. For the cutout stems, I bundle them together, wrap it in a wire, and put it in my closet or put them on a dish for display. Hey, it's scented. Don't waste them. So that's all the arrangements that I got with basic tips and tricks for dried flowers. I hope you learned a thing or two. Well, I did. I mostly do arrangements whenever there's celebrations, but this time I get to document it and of course share with you. Comment down below if you know what other flowers I used are called from where you're from, or if you know that grain grass, introduce her to me. Like and subscribe if you're interested. Click the notification bell if you want to see more of my uploads, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!